Good evening. Thank you for joining me. This is El Hernandez, 1021. Today we're going to be tying a golden stonefly pattern. This particular pattern is called the Connecticut curler. I fished this fly on the Farmington River here in Connecticut with good success. I tied this fly for my nephew in Massachusetts who fishes the Merrimack, and my nephew in Pennsylvania who is fishing western Pennsylvania. Also, I tie it for my son-in-law who lives in Utah, southern Utah, and fishes the small creeks in the desert. And he has tremendous success with it. And in fact, I'm making this little group of flies for him. He recently texted me and said, "Hey Dad, I need some more flies, some more stoneflies. Can you send me a half a dozen?" So here we are, making a video and tying some flies for him. I do this fly in a two-stage process, and I prepare it in this manner so I have this sleek, thin, profiled fly. Without further ado, we'll take a hook, secure it on the vise. So the side closest to me, I'm going to start the lead on the side. And what I'm trying to do here, accomplish, is a very thin, wide profile. And I want to put it really just on the stem of the hook. That's it. No more, no less. I want to have space available for a head, and I want it to taper the pieces of lead at each end. Reason being is I want to be able to sort of that's why I'm cutting it with diagonal pliers, so that I could really get a smooth transition to the hook. Tie on the other side. And I tie that in a little bit, then maneuver it to where I want it. Finish it off with a whip finish. I have some older head cement that I have, and it actually works out pretty well. Instead of throwing it away, I keep it and I use it for coating these types of flies. I then put the fly on my dryer, my rotating dryer, and it smooths it out just like epoxy. Okay. It's got, kind of a thick consistency to it. And I just paint it on. And it doesn't have to be pretty, because this is all going to be completely covered up. I mean, it's always nice to take pride in everything that you do, but this seriously doesn't have to be that perfect, because it's going to be covered up, like completely covered up by materials. So I'll put this on the dryer and let it dry for 24 hours, and tomorrow I will continue. All right, thank you. Hey, good evening again. Well, today's the following day, even though it's actually 3 weeks later. Finally got a chance to finish some of my flies. I did the half a dozen for my son-in-law and shipped them out, and finally I've had some time to get behind the camera and continue my video. Tie in our Danville thread, and we'll take a little pinch of the dubbing that we mixed together, pull some out, and want to do a little ball at the end, so that it will split our goose bite and keep it separate. Okay. 2 brown pieces of goose bite for the rear tail, for the tail I should say. That's always going to be in the rear. I think I'll just put in tying one at a time. Things you do, you give the spool some spin, and that tightens up the thread, makes it real narrow and really gives it bite. And okay, tie that in a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning of the tail where I tied in the made the little ball. Next we're going to tie in the copper wire. Okay, and we're going to take our a section of turkey, which is going to be our abdomen back and our wing case. Tie that in now. Okay, now we're going to double a little abdomen body, and typical, you want a tapered body. Okay. And in case you hear that in the background, that's the family. We are home in the evening together. It's getting close to Halloween, and they're spending some time watching Halloween movies. Anyways, here we are. So let's see, we got our golden body, and we'll start by taking the turkey feather and tying that down, then folding it back, putting a couple of strands of thread to hold it back in place. What's going to be our legs, and this is our ruffled grouse. I happen to use ruffled grouse because I guess technically you would probably be using partridge, but literally kind of ran into this ruffled grouse by mistake. I was in upstate New York, fishing the Catskills, and coming down the road, and this was one ruffled grouse that juked when it should have jived. And now scavenged what I could, and actually it does really well. And prepare a little section for wings, and I'll tie that in, and that'll get folded over, and the back side of it will be the legs. Try to start it a little bit on the near side of me, because as you start going around the feather, it'll work its way sort of to the center, and then pull it back a little bit, and that's about it. Cut the end off. Material we're going to use is some Here's Air, which I blended myself. This is actually a hair that didn't make it. Woke up one morning driving my daughter to school, and there it was. I was walking the dog the evening before, and I know I walked by the area and there wasn't a rabbit there, and we crossed the road, and the following morning it was there, so it was pretty fresh but pretty beat up. So I picked up the roadkill and now skinned it, and I use it for my Here's Airs, for this fly and anything else that requires hairs here. Waste not, want not. And I want a little bit of a body on there, but it doesn't have to be much bigger than the abdomen, maybe just a tiny bit bigger than the abdomen. And what I'll do is now I come to the front of the fly and I do a half hitch. So I could use the rotary vise to spin in the copper wire, and really do have to work a little bit at it because you have the wing case facing back and the legs, so just carefully get everything out of the way on every rotation. But this copper wire just really keeps everything together. Now, move the legs forward. Just got to work them a little bit just to make sure that move off to the side. Once you put the wing case on there, it'll really kind of force it back a little bit. So there we go. Pinch it down and center it. And what I do is I'm going to do a little tilt to this fly now. Give myself a little bit of a help, let gravity do a little bit of work for me, you know. Bring that wing case over. There we go. And that'll settle those legs down quite a bit. Give a little twist to the bobbin. So you want to have a little bit of bite. The turkey feather can be a rather how's the word, slick. So then I'll give it a bend back again and put a couple of wraps on it. Bring it, do a little break in it, you know, like a little additional section of wing case. A little twist to the bobbin to get that string narrow and sharp, so it'll bite into that that turkey. Now the antennae, I use white. I don't think I think really the color is a tan color, but sometimes like with bass fishing, just dropping a little red onto a bass fly, you know, just makes it a little bit more attractive to the fish. I think that's the same thing with a little white on for trout. I just like having a little white on a fly if I can. Not exactly sure why. Let's say it's personal preference, you know. Little head cement. As always, I try to finish on the bottom. And maneuver these legs around a little bit. Get them sticking out. And there we go. That's our golden stonefly, or the Connecticut curler. Thank you very much for paying attention.